All right, what's up, everybody? It is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. Nolan Kelly here with me to talk over this huge three-game slate. Nolan, how you doing this
What's going on?
afternoon?
Excited. We got some decent contest, I guess, on an $8 one on DraftKings and a little bit better on FanDuel. They've got their usual $4, 7,000 person. So not the worst in the world for a three-game slate.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I would have liked to see the contest a little bit bigger, but now that showdowns become such a big thing,
Yeah.
it's just can't really expect much on Monday. So maybe we'll get some bigger Monday and weekend contests once NFL is done. But still got a few more weeks. Regular season, then the playoffs. Lots of news today, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of got lots going on for a three-game slate. So, yeah, I guess we'll dive in, but it seems like there's quite a few line changes.
Yeah, that's what I see from your article. I will post the article in chat right now for anybody that wants to read it.
Sweet.
And then we have I guess you call it a promotion or like a giveaway going on right now that I want to let everyone know about. It's just a gift from us to you guys, all of the people supporting Osmo.com, all of our content. We're giving away something every single day of December through Christmas Eve. So for this first week, we're giving away a free NFL membership for the rest of the season that includes Osmos rankings for every slate, ownership projections, and all the other premium NFL content. And the way you are entered in to win this is all you have to do is click the like button, subscribe, and then for tonight, the entry is going to be comment the top scoring line, and we'll go by DraftKings points. So every time you comment and like a show, whether it's this show or other Osmo.com shows, you'll win an entry into that free drawing. So the highest scoring line tonight, DraftKings points for the three players. That's what we're going to do for tonight. So get started on that. I think you have to wait until the show's done to comment. I actually don't really know. I don't comment on YouTube videos too much. Do you know off the top of your head, Nolan?
I actually don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know. So you probably can't comment right now. Maybe you can, but you can start whenever you want. Top scoring line once again, and I'll mention this at the end of the show, or maybe in the middle once we get our usual amount of viewers going in here. Interesting note from the other day: the New Jersey Washington total that moved from 5.6 to 6.4 ended up closing right around 7. Is that right? Were you on the show with me that day?
Yeah, was that the one where I was convinced it was like 5.5 or 6 or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
And then you
maybe.
guys were saying it was 6.5?
I don't know. The days all run together at this point.
Yeah. I think it was me. I didn't realize it was that high though. That's crazy. And
That's
it
a
was,
that's a huge jump.
yeah. What was the final in that one too? It was Washington went off, right? That's the one there.
Yeah, they went off, but I think it was like,
6-3.
was it 6-3?
Yeah.
Man,
So hopefully you
final
bet the
over
over.
under was 6.5 over minus 135. Jeez, that is quite the jump. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe the line was just bad at first, the over under. That could have been the
Yeah.
case. But even from 6 to like almost 7 is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
you don't see a lot of those for sure.
yeah, and it worked out for the people who were hammering the over all day. So something to keep an eye on when we're talking about NHL DFS. I don't know exactly how perfectly it transfers, but we've got a couple high total games, especially this first one. So we can just get started and go through these games. Maybe we'll do some fantasy cruncher at the end, or do some hand building on the lineup builder. Maybe mess around with some 6-man stacks. And then we'll get out of here for the NBA slate, and then also the I think there may be an NFL show tonight. I can't remember, but anyways, there's an NBA show, 2 NBA shows after this. So we'll get started.
Let's do it.
3.4 implied total for the Lightning, 3.2 for the Devils, the home team. Louis Domingue going up against Keith Kincaid. And Nolan, I'm just gonna let you talk about anything newsworthy in this game.
So yeah, I don't know. I might have been out to lunch on that last game, or like I noticed that the Nashville or the Tampa Bay one, whatever it was with Stamkos, Palat was up. Palat was playing, I think, 2 games ago a little bit with them, and then I don't know if that happened in line rushes. It wasn't being reported, or maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, he's on Tampa Bay one tonight, so that's he's really cheap. I think he's like $3,500. So that's an intriguing spot for them. Sergachev is on the power play too. He was there last game because McDonough was game time decision. And what else we got here? Jersey. Yeah, Jersey 1 has been reunited. Brad is out, or it looks like he's a game time decision. Will Butcher who's been healthy scratch for the last 2 games, I think.
Yep.
Is back in the lineup and expected to be on the power play 1, so you can downgrade Vatanen a little bit. And right now it's Zaka centering Johansson and Noesen on the third line. I think de facto, for all intents and purposes, third line, but just ice time wise. But yeah, that's pretty much it from this game. I don't know what you think, but Tampa Bay is kind of intriguing. I don't know about that.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, I think, is going to be the place a lot of people go. It is the highest total on the night by a decent margin, and they're a road team. I mean, I like Tampa Bay for sure here, but looking at what just my projections spit out this morning, I'm much higher on the Devils, specifically the top line. I love that Palmieri's back up there, as you mentioned. And then I don't know exactly how the line matching is going to go, but the last game the Devils were at home, they hard matched Zajac against the opposing top line. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it does make me like Point, Kucherov, and Tyler Johnson. I would assume they consider that the top line with Kucherov and Point. It's just the better line. I mean, it just is. But maybe they go up against Stamkos.
I have a small budget.
I don't exactly know how it's going to work. But it doesn't make that big of a difference. The Zajac line has actually been decent defensively, but it's not like they've faced this Point, Johnson, Kucherov line that can just be ridiculous at times. So it's really the Devils' top line going to be possibly my highest exposed line, and I'm seeing Osmo really likes it as well from a value and point perspective. And then I will have some of this Tampa Bay 2, I guess you could call him Point, Johnson, Kucherov. What sticks out to you from a DFS perspective?
I think I agree with on all fronts. I mean, obviously in a small slate, you're going to get really high concentrated ownership, probably on both those lines. So, I mean, I would probably you're going to have to go down to something a little less owned, though. Obviously, the salary might force you to do so. But yeah, I like those lines. I like New Jersey 1 a lot too. I think that's probably the best play of the night as far as stacking goes.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely up there for me. I think Brad stays second. Oh, okay. Do you think the lines get jumbled if Brad is in, or would just be Brad taking the spot for Noesen in the second line? I think it would just be Brad filling in for Noesen. Nosen's usually a fourth line guy. And then someone would get scratched. I don't know who it would be. But what's your read on that if Brad does actually play?
Yeah, I would probably get that. I would probably agree with that as well. I'm just going to look up what they did last game because they don't tend to shuffle a lot. They're kind of like middle of the pack, I guess, for shuffling.
Right.
No, I'm circling on that clicking on the wrong thing here. There we go. Most recent game. Let's just go on to left wing lock here, which is a great resource for some of this stuff.
For sure. Yeah, left wing lock, natural stat trick. Couple of very good resources for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they didn't shuffle it much last game, so I wouldn't. And they haven't really been shuffling the last 3, so I wouldn't really expect much change.
Okay.
I think you're pretty safe stacking them if you're going for contrarian Devils 2 or 3 stacks.
Sure. Yeah, I was just wondering, because he was up on the top line recently, so
yeah,
I think
even when he was up on the top line, though, they were still giving Palmieri some ice time as well.
Yep.
So
that's exactly where I was going, and he's playing on the top power play as well. So there's correlation with Palmieri no matter how the lines end up. I mean, you'd like him to be on that top line because you are paying a pretty decent price for them. But it is a pretty good power play spot as Tampa does commit. They've been shorthanded, I think, top 5 in the NHL times this year. So the Devils' power play is like average, but you're getting the best parts of it. So I just love that top line. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just watch those line rushes beforehand because you might be able to generate a little bit of an edge.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Always smart to keep up on that kind of stuff. Like last night, there was a
I have
bunch
a
of
small budget and
jumbles
a big family.
last
Holidays.
minute, and you could have taken advantage of them, especially on a Sunday when people aren't paying as much attention.
Good point.
Palmieri is on the top line tonight. Yep, Palmieri is on the top line tonight. Any other lines you're looking at? Like maybe this Tampa Bay third line? I know Cirelli and Killorn sometimes become a little bit popular, especially if you're looking
Do
at
they really?
Cirelli.
I hadn't been paying attention to that, but yeah, they had a pretty good game last game, I think, right?
Yeah, just for like an MME play, I think they'll
Yeah.
come up in some people's optimizers, myself included. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Not bad for sure. I mean, are they both on? I think they're both on the second power play now. Is that right? Lauren and Miller.
Killorn and yep, they're both on PP2.
So there's some correlation there. Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, they have awesome Corsi numbers. That's why they come up for me. So Matt's on to me. I'm gonna have sprinkles of them. I almost always do it, especially on shorter slates like this. It's the perfect time to roll out like a Tampa 3 stack if you're going to Dallas 1 or something like that. I just really don't know what I'm gonna do with this Stamkos Palat Gord line. I think like it's cheap with especially with Palat there, but they're just not coming up for me for whatever reason.
You think it's like a trap play?
I don't know if it's a trap play. I just much prefer Point Johnson and Kucherov. It's just a better line, and I think I can afford it. So I don't know. Devils 1 popping. Yeah, of course he's right. Devils 1 is going to be in the healthy amount of my lineups. This morning they were like 50%, which is pretty crazy even for a 3-game slate. So it may not be that high by the time I get to lock, but it's definitely going to be up there. Defensemen or goalies here that stick out to you, Nolan?
No, I think just like whatever you're stacking. I mean, obviously Hedman's always a good play, and like I have so much trouble stacking any of these New Jersey defensemen with the right combinations. They generally just get the same, like the top 4 get the same amount of ice time with the top line. So you can either go for the Butcher corollary stack, or generally I just don't bother. But that's just me.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I hate New Jersey defensemen. I wish Vatanen was on the top line, the top power play.
Yeah, if Vatanen, like, do we know for sure if Butcher's on there? Like, I saw a beat writer reporting that they expect him, but I didn't see like a confirmation. So
it's actually interesting. I should have checked on that probably today, but I can do it really quick now because he was out the last game, so I want to see what they did with their power play.
Oh, it was Vatanen.
Was it Vatanen?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And like I read an article today that said that they were kind of like, he was talking about, oh, there it goes. Yeah, Chris Ryan's reporting he's back on the top power play unit. So never mind.
So it is Butcher?
It's Butcher, yeah.
Why? I mean, whatever. But the coaches know more than me, obviously, but still.
Sometimes not, my friend. Sometimes.
Yeah, maybe not, actually. Some of these coaches are.
Especially Mike McCarthy.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a long time coming for good old Mike. I guess on the Tampa side, you're looking at Victor Hedman. He's the number 1 guy you'd want, but he is almost 6K on DraftKings. And then this guy Cernak is playing quite a bit with Point Johnson and Kucherov. I know that was more at home because they are used as the shutdown line with McDonough. But I think he's still in play as like a punt guy. I'd rather have him than Dan Girardi at 3,100. So he's the other guy that I would look at.
What happened to Sergachev? He seems to like just suck now. He's on the power play too. I guess he's taken over from McDonough because McDonough was injured, but he just doesn't seem to be doing much this year. Yeah.
It was kind of the same thing as last season, right? So he started off pretty well, and then his minutes just started dropping, and he was seeing like some games with 12, 15 minutes last season. I don't know. I don't have his minutes in front of me, like game logs, but I'm assuming his minutes have dropped substantially.
It's usually not much. It's like in that 12-minute range.
Yeah. So like if he wasn't on the second power play, which I don't really care about that much, he wouldn't really be in play for 4K. But I guess since he does play on the second power play, he technically does correlate to Johnson and Palat, so both the top 2 lines. Like there's there's assist possibilities for those lines. Then I guess he's fine, but yeah, C value. Just kind of indifferent to Sergachev at this point.
I agree. And
And
like it seems like Tampa 1 gets about, well, Tampa 2 gets about 15%, sorry, 25% of power play time, so a little less under league average.
Stamkos' line probably won't even have half of Kucherov's ownership. You think that? I don't know. What do you think
I
about
don't
that?
think that. No, no. I think just the cheapness of the Stamkos line is gonna. There people are gonna force that in as like a second combo with more high price lines. So I
Yeah.
would expect them to be pretty close to even.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I figured like quite a few people use optimizers in like this $8, which is the main tournament I play.
Hmm.
And I figured they would pop just because Stamkos being so cheap in terms of a stack. I thought he'd
Yeah.
pop for a lot of people. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Matt is completely right here, but I think it'll be closer than half. So
Hmm.
I think the point line will be higher owned, but it's a 3 game slate. You got to hit on the lines first, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
that concerned about ownership on this slate. There are quite a few options for just 3 games. And then goalies here, I really like Kincaid. Osmo doesn't really even for 7,200, but he's going to be a guy that I have in quite a few lineups, especially with the Devils' top line. What about you?
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty smart stack. I mean, especially the Lightning averaging a slate high, or sorry, second on the slate, 33 shots per game. So he's going to get a fair amount of rubber. The Devils allowing the second most shots per game on the slate, though these numbers are pretty tight. It's not the biggest difference. So, yeah, I like that play, especially as part of the stack.
All right. Let's move it on. Sabres and the Predators, 2.5 implied total for Buffalo, 3 for the Predators. Carter Hutton in net against likely Pecorine. We've got some interesting things going on with the Nashville lines. You want to talk about that quick?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I missed this on Saturday. I'm not sure if it was in line. Did they change them up pre-game? Because it was. I thought it was being reported all day that Hartman was on Nashville 2.
Was it last game?
Yeah, last game, and he didn't play
Right.
there, I believe. So the lines that are now, like, I thought it was Hartman, Yarncroc, and Smith, and it was Tolvanen, Fiala, and Johansson going to that game, right?
It was.
Yeah, okay, but I think it ended up being Nashville, being the way they are now. So I don't know if they changed them up in pregame line rushes or what, but that was a pretty good play. I kind of like went contrarian there and tried to get a little Cam Ward, thinking that Nashville offense would be a little bit detrimented with so many of their stars out. That proved to not be very smart.
Yeah, they put like 3 or 4 quick ones right on Cam Ward, right?
God, like the play was just the value. Smith, Yarncroc, and Tolvanen last game, 5% ice time clip.
And it was the Blackhawks, but both these lines were very successful at even
Yeah.
strength. And
So salary wise, Nashville won 13,002, Nashville 2 13,600. So Nashville 1 has a much better grade from Osimo. Power play wise, they switched up their power play combos as well. And I think so. It's Ellis and Yossi with. Just let me pull this up here again because I'm forgetting.
Fiala, Johansson, Yarncroc.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, I think, the reverse last time. It was Ekholm and Smith or something. But anyways, they've been mixing up. They had 4 or 5 different power play combos last game.
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't have a chance to look too much into the details of the penalties because obviously in one game that could be anything. But just like I think Nashville's power play is there's no clear cut one power play. Nashville 2 gets about as much ice time as Nashville 1. So something to consider.
You said that Nashville 1 gets way more ice time?
Or sorry, Nashville power play 1 and Nashville power play 2.
Okay.
They're like, every time I check, they're like 60-40, 40-60, and they go back and forth. So,
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's usually when you've got so many good defensemen and your top 2 players are out.
Yeah.
Offense, that's right.
I mean, I just love Nashville here. I think everyone's going to love Nashville, especially on a short slate. So much value on both lines, really. I kind of lean towards this second line with Tolvanen, Yarncroc, and Smith, and I expect them to have somewhat lower ownership. But it doesn't really matter that much. The price is pretty close between the two. And power play time for all these guys, Tolvanen, hard to ignore. I agree. For 4,400, I think that's a bargain. And then you look at like some of these numbers for Buffalo's top 6. The Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart line, like trio has been really poor defensively. And then the Middlestat, Thompson, Oposo line has been atrocious defensively. So top six probably going to see a lot of time together. Maybe Sissons see some time against each of the top two lines as well. But yeah, it's just really it's hard to choose between both of these Nashville top lines.
What's your take on Nashville 3? Probably like 2% ownership, 1%.
What do you have for the line combos for the third?
Sissons, Watson, and Salamaki.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish Bonino was with some real line mates.
Yeah,
that would.
Bonino's a great. Actually, like even as a one-off GPP play, if you're not stacking Bonino, I love putting Bonino in these small states just because he can pop a goal out of anywhere, right?
And then Bonino's not listed on the power play. Is that right?
Yeah,
that seems odd.
Yeah, because he was on the first power play last time, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at what they did last game. It was against the Hawks.
Yeah.
Let's see, Nick Bonino. Where's he at? Oh, was he out?
He was out.
That's why.
Last game. Yeah.
I would expect him to be on one of those units. I don't know if they take Yarncroc out or something like that. But Bonino as a one-off, I do agree. Osmo also has him as an A value grade.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be worried about him being on the fourth line. He's going to see quite a bit of ice time. He always does. You got anything on Buffalo's side that you're looking at? And then we'll talk about defensemen.
No, Buffalo wasn't really popping at all for me. Like, I don't really have much other than that they've switched up their third line a little bit. I'm just grabbing that right now. My tabs are all over the place. Sorry, I'm being super inefficient.
Yeah.
So what is going on with Buffalo? Oh yeah, they switched up their bottom six. Remy Ely. How do you say his name? Ely.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Rodriguez, Sabaka, and then Berglund with Larson and Girgensson. So nothing really exciting there. And then Okposo's still on the power play 1. So yeah, I don't really like them too much. I don't know how much ownership that Buffalo 1 will garner, but
I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna be one of the lower owned top lines, maybe the lowest owned top line. They're the only one that I'm really considering for Buffalo here. I rarely ever get to the middle stat line. They're just so bad defensively, and Nashville just the superior team. Buffalo had a nice streak there, but their number they were due for some big regression. I'm sure it's coming even more, and It's really just Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart here. They're all in the top power play. They're the best offensive line, and I think if one of these lines is gonna dominate or handle at least Nashville's top 6, it would be them. So it's really them, and then I would probably correlate with Carter Hutton if for some reason he stands on his head. He's 7K and could wreck the slate on a 3-game slate.
Especially because these Nashville forward lines are not super. I mean, as a 1-2, they're not exactly potent offensive lines, eh? Or how do you have them rated even with Forsberg and Arvidsson out?
I mean, yeah, they're still. I mean, it's obviously a downgrade with Arvidsson and Forsberg out, but you still have some capable players. They call up Tolvanen as well. Yeah. Craig Smith is fine. Yarncroc, probably a third line guy playing second line center, but still, they're just and their defensemen. I think is the huge difference too. You've got these offensive defensemen and defensive defensemen as well on the Preds. So I don't know.
that's the key, right? It's sort of their stagnant offense is mitigated by these amazing offensive defensemen they can roll out.
They're Yossi and Ellis together.
Man, they are killed too. I kind of forget about Subban and Turris as well. Damn. Yeah. That's brutal.
So Yossi and Ellis are going to stick on Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart the whole game, which is really good if you're looking to double D-man stack or something like that. That's another way to get different here. Those guys correlate. It's full correlation for Yossi and Ellis. They play on the power play together. They play at even strength. They might even play in the penalty kill together if I'm remembering correctly.
I think you're right. Do you often I've seen a winning GPP lineup with both of them in it before, and I know. Do you put them in your lineups just 1-2 punch?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm hand building for sure, and we could do that after we talk about the next game. Maybe do the double defenseman stack. If we're doing a 5-man stack, and you go with one of those top 2 Nashville lines, I would just plug in Yossi and Ellis if you can afford it, because those guys are studs. So there's really nothing bad to say about this Nashville team outside of their injuries, but I'm not really worried about it here. It's a one-line Buffalo team, and you're not really worried about any of these Buffalo defensemen Are you?
No.
Dahlin, Ristolainen. I mean, Ristolainen's the clear guy playing the top power
Yep.
play, but yeah.
Rasmus has been really, or Rasmus, what am I saying?
Which one?
Dallin's been really good this year. I was just looking at some underlying metrics as he's starting to come on. So
Okay.
yeah, someone to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. I think his like, what I can't remember his zone entries or his
Controlled.
the percentage controlled zone entries were like top 10 in the league already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something. I think it was Sean Tierney that was tweeting that out. But
Oh, yeah, he does the charting hockey.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like obviously Nashville won too. What do you think their ownership's going to be?
Which one?
Both of them, like 5 to 10%.
Oh no, I mean I think Nashville one's gonna get quite a bit of attention with Fiala and Johansson together, and then Tolvanen. I mean he's just kind of a big name if you follow hockey at all. He's a guy that people were excited got called up.
Yeah.
And I mean I don't know. I think it's gonna be pretty even between the two. I think they'll both see 15 to 20% ownership.
Oh damn, I'm way off on
Yeah,
that one.
I mean it's a 3-game slate, so
Yeah.
they just fit so well with basically every other stack.
You're right. You're right. So like from a contrarian point of view, it's almost like if you're loading up on one of these, if it's Dallas 1, Edmonton 1, Tampa 2, or New Jersey 1, you're probably the most cliched or the most used stacks are going to be Nashville 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With those combinations.
Yeah, they just fit.
So,
And you can get a top defenseman in like Yossi or someone like that, or even go down to Ellis or both. So
if you're trying to differentiate in GPPs, maybe find a cheaper option elsewhere.
yeah, like we were talking like Tampa 3 or something like that. If you're looking to get the 5% owned stack on a 3-game slate, which is tough to do, especially when the stack is actually viable. You got anything on Rene? I mentioned Hutton just being a correlation play for me more than anything, but
yeah, I think he's got the best grades in Osmo's rankings tonight.
B point, B value.
B point, B value. Are there any A grades tonight?
There's an A value in the next game, Kudobin.
Okay. So second best. Yeah. He's probably the safest play on the board. I'd be using him for cash for sure.
I would agree. All right, last game of the night, Oilers and the Dallas Stars. 2.7 implied total for the Oilers, 2.9 for the Stars. We have Mikko Koskinen going up against Anton Khudobin. Both of these guys pretty well priced on DK, affordable. And then we've got a trio broken up for the Stars if you want to talk about some Dallas line changes here.
Yeah, so Jason Spezza was skated with Bennett again last game. I think that was like a late, I don't know if it was a line rush switch because it was an early game against the Canucks at 1 p.m. Pacific start. So Radulov was off, but he still got 10% of the ice time share with them at 5-on-5, and he's still on the power play 1, whereas Spezza isn't on the power play 1. So that might be an intriguing option. Maybe mix and match those guys into your lineups a little bit. The other Dallas 2, 3, 4 are just a mess as usual. Like they just mix and match so much. So I can't really get any kind of handle on it. Nichushkin's back in, and I think he's on the third line with Faxon and Pitlick, I think. So,
yep.
Yeah, not too exciting outside of the outside of Dallas 1 and or Radulov, and then Bayreuther's back on the power play 1 as well for the Stars, and he's 4K on DK, so it's pretty good value.
Yeah, Dallas power play has been awful this year for whatever reason. Yep. I know they've had Klingberg out for a while, and that obviously hurts, but like one of the worst power plays in the league, and so it makes the Sagan, Ben, Radulov stack a little less appealing because they're not listed at even strength together, but they it seems like every single time they're always together in the third period if it's a close game. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Like I'm going to play a bunch of Sagan, Ben, Radulov together. It's like Radulov's probably going to be half the ownership of Ben and Sagan just because he's not listed on their line.
And he's still so expensive, right?
Yeah. And like, would you be surprised at all if at pregame skate, like just Radulov's back up there, you go Sagan, Ben, Radulov? It happens all the time.
Yeah,
so,
not at all.
Yeah, and then you can't really late swap after that. So if you're making lineups with Radulov's Sagan and Ben together, you're going to be different than a lot of people that just use Fantasy Cruncher and just kind of blindly plug in whoever line 1, line 2, line 3 is. And that's kind of a long way of saying I don't really like Radulov's line mates, but I love him as a player in this game. And then I'm expecting Sagan and McDavid to match up quite a bit here. McDavid, Draisaitl, Chiasson line together. In 45 minutes, they're just like on a per 60 basis, 35 scoring chances against per 60, 19 high danger chances against per 60 for that McDavid line. So,
have we seen any changes in that recently with Hitchcock taking over? Like, have they started to play a little bit?
They're playing slower as a team, but that line's getting crushed on the defensive end. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
that's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, Hitchcock. What a guy. So
we'll see. Like, is that like from a season-long perspective? Are you kind of thinking like maybe that'll start to impact a little bit? Like, he'll start to have a more impactful role in how well that team plays defense?
I mean, they're going to be annoying for DFS, I think, because they're not letting the best player in the world or one of the best players in the world run and gun. I don't know. It's just, it seems not the option for a coach. But what do I know? Again, I don't know. Edmonton's always making me scratch my head, like whether it's line combos or coaching changes. Or,
oh my God, a monkey could run a team better than Cirelli.
It's like you just never really know what they're doing, so it's hard to be surprised. And then like I just really like the top two lines here, mostly the Dallas side, but McDavid always in play. I'm probably gonna end up under the field on him. I think actually Edmonton won when you bring in like value into account here. I think they're my least, they're my worst value for top lines, any of the 6 top lines, but
they're so expensive.
Yeah, and I don't know. They're probably going to see some time against the Pitlick Faxa line, which I don't really want to target that much. So I don't know. It's really just Dallas 1 and trying to leave off Spezza for Radulov if I can.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then like maybe,
any like secondary lines here? Like you're looking at the Nugent Hopkins. Could you pull Yarvi?
I mean, Nugent Hopkins always seems to rate out well for Osmo. I don't know if that's because of his power play 1 status or what, but no.
I mean, yeah, it's the power play 1, and then he was playing like he's got a 16, 17, 18 game sample playing with McDavid. So his stats this year are probably elevated. Like he was coming up a ton for me, and I had to manually take him down once he came off of McDavid's line because he just makes everyone so much better. So
how about the Lucic, Cassian, Brodziak line? Oh my God!
What do they call that line again?
I don't know.
It's like not the intangible line. It's like the identity line or something. Someone on Twitter was calling it that. Just classic Oilers line there, and they were running that line up against top competition at some point, I think, which is hilarious.
That's the grossest line in hockey right now, I think.
Yeah, that's real bad. You mentioned Bayreuther is on the top power play. Who knows if he sticks there? They've been doing. It's been a revolving door on the top power play with Dallas as they try to get anything going at 5-on-4. So I think all 3 of those top guys that you see on the screen are viable. Bayreuther, you probably have to give the edge because he's the cheapest of Heiskanen, Lindell, and himself. And he's listed on the top power play, so maybe they start there. If they get a goal early, he's probably not coming off. But I think Heiskanen and Lindell are perfectly fine as well. So
I agree. Yeah, I think those are both viable.
And then I actually like Roman Polak a little bit for 3K, and this other guy Fadoon. He's coming up for me quite a bit. He's attempting quite a few shots. The minutes aren't really there, which is the only issue. But that would be like my Hail Mary guy at 2,900. What do you got on any Edmonton defensemen or goalies in this game that you like?
It's just Clefbaum, really, for Edmonton defensemen. I don't know. I guess who have they got on the second power play? It's still Nurse on the second power play. Yeah.
Clefbaum, yeah. Clefbaum's a stud.
Always correlates well ice time wise with that Edmonton one. They get he gets as much ice time as anyone. Last game he had 15 minutes, but that was obviously home game. But I think anytime you're stacking them, that makes a ton of sense.
I would agree. Yeah, and Clefbaum would be the guy I would want a one-off on the Oilers. Maybe if you're looking for block shots, These guys are kind of overpriced, but Larson would be my preferred guy. Or if you can't afford Larson, you can't afford the extra $100, then Russell, I suppose. But it's pretty ugly after Clefbaum.
Yeah, both these teams, like Oilers are implied for 2.7 goals. That's not super high. So
and Dallas have been playing at a really slow pace as well.
Yeah, who's in that could be actually like a kind of sneaky defensive game here for sure. Who's in net for the, is it Khudobin?
Yeah. And he's cheap too.
I don't mind that as a little people like I wonder what his ownership will be. Probably like 15.
I think he might be the highest owned goalie.
Yeah.
Just because you see the super low total against him, he's a home favorite, and I mean, Kincaid has way higher upside in the spot just because he's going to see so many more shots, or he's expected to see so many more shots. So I like that pivot if you're making one lineup. If you can stomach going up against the Lightning,
it's definitely a good GPP play for sure. Like yeah, I think you're right. Actually, now that I look at it, like Dallas, like I can't really see any of these other goalies going overly highly owned. He's gonna be number 1 or 2, right? It'll be Rene.
Yeah, Rene. I think the 3 home guys will be the highest owned. Maybe Domingue.
Maybe
over
Tim.
Kincaid.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have exposure to all 6 of these guys. In some capacity.
I think Koskinen's not a bad play as well,
especially if you're stacking Edmonton 1, which is really, or like the power play.
I
haven't seen lately, but I know last season Dallas committed a ton of penalties. I think they've been better at that this year. They're about middle of the pack, 83 times shorthanded. So nothing there. Their penalty kill's been decent as well. So it's probably just Edmonton 1 for me. All right. Anyone in chat, if you guys want to see something on the lineup builder, feel free, because we've got about 15 minutes. We'll get out a couple minutes early for the NBA slate. Laffy and Adam are going to do the deeper dive, and then live before lock with, I believe it's Chris and Eddie, Chris Bags, Fast Eddie Fear. Should be a good night of NBA. We have the premium Slack if you're looking for showdown advice. Awesemo always pops his head in there and gives a few takes, who he likes for the captain spot and such. So I would definitely want to check out the premium NFL chat if you have not already.
When does that start?
Which one?
The premium NFL chart or chat.
Oh, it's happening already.
Oh, it's on right now. Okay, sweet.
No, it's
definitely.
It's always around. I'll talk to you after the show, and we'll get you in if you're not already.
Nice. He's so good for he's really good for NFL. I find like it's just always good to listen to that before your lineup block.
For sure. 11-person contest. What's the strategy? Like a GPP? If it's a GPP, just stack lines.
Does he mean 11 entries? Like 11?
I think you mean 11 total. 11 total entries. I mean, I would still stack. I wouldn't change anything than I would from a large field tournament. Qualifier. Oh, are you trying to qualify for the Fantasy Hockey World Championship or whatever, the DK one? Man, I don't know. I mean, still, you want to play the best plays. I wouldn't change too much of your strategy, but if it's a single entry and you think someone's going to be super chalky, like if you think Tampa's going to be super chalky and you want like the other side of it, take New Jersey 1, take Kincaid, maybe do an onslaught, like a 5-man stack, something to separate yourself. But 11 people, you don't have to separate yourself that much. You don't have to get crazy. There's one more thing. Who are you looking to correlate Bonino with on Nashville? Probably Yossi and Ellis. One of those two guys if you're looking for like a 2-man.
That's not bad. Let me just look up Nashville here and see if I can come up with anything.
All right, let me try this out. Let's do like double defenseman stack and then go Johansson, Hartman, Fiala. Now we've got 6,450 left with Nashville 1, Yossi, Ellis. So you can basically do whatever you want after that. Like you could go Point Kucherov with just a one-off Clefbaum. No, not Clefbaum, but you could maybe go Bayrether. And there you go. Look at that. You can do
them with a lot actually. If you could do like a Devils one stack with Ellis and Yossi. Sorry, not interrupting your stack.
No, I'm doing it. I think you're just on a bit of a delay, but so right now I've got Nashville 1 again with Yossi, Ellis. Put in Heischer, Taylor Hall, and we've got 69.50 remaining for a goalie and a one-off utility. You could do Hedman, and then you've got 8K for a goalie, so you could afford anyone you want, except for Rene. That's not even that hard to fit in.
No.
But it's going to be different, right? Because most people are just going to do this. They're just going to go 3-man with Yossi or 3-man with Ellis and another expensive stack. Take off Hartman. You could also do that if you're looking for the Nashville onslaught. One of my favorite things to do. You go with, you get pieces of both of the top 2 lines, or it's also called the Josh stack. You go with Craig Smith, Johansson, Tolvanen, Fiala, and Yossi. You probably want to take the goalie in this case because you're banking on your team putting up a bunch of goals. And then you've got a 2-man. Man, you could even do a 6-man stack here on DK. With Yossi and Ellis on the stack. That's pretty nice, actually. That might be something I would do for a qualifier lineup. Clefbaum as your one-off. Utility. Oh, we can't play Bonino. Sorelli. There we go. Look at that. Or Heischer. Either way. And it's not that difficult to build lineups tonight with those Nashville guys. Austin Watson averaging 4.7 DK points last 5 games. He also had a hat trick in one of those, which is like, I think at minimum you're at 13 there. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. And he's also not playing with Johansson anymore, so I wouldn't worry about last 5 games averages. I mean, the only thing I look at as far as a 5-game sample is how much a guy's shooting, if that's all of a sudden changed a bunch, or creating a bunch of chances but not scoring. Throw McDavid in there with Draisaitl and you've got a winner. Yeah, I don't think McDavid's going to be that popular for a 3-gamer, right? He's probably going to be like 20%, but that's not, like, he's almost always the chalk, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or himself. The line never gets to be that chalky because he's usually playing with some scrub like Kajula or Chason. So.
Who's like their 3rd best player now, 4th best player.
Yeah. You can't fit New Jersey 1 with the Sagan Ben Radulov. But you.
I don't even know if. Yeah. You can't do it, eh? But you could probably do it with Spezza, but you're probably not going to be the only one with that combination.
Right, that's the problem. Like they came up in Fantasy Cruncher when I didn't change anything. I'm sure they're going to for a bunch of people. Can Dallas stop McDavid, though? They've just been doing a good job of slowing it down, like, the entire year Dallas has. So I don't expect this to be a super high-paced game. Maybe the Sagan-Ben Spezza matchup, if they get matched up against McDavid, maybe that opens up a little bit. McDavid is the hardest player hands down to defend, for sure. Yeah, so even if you shut down McDavid, he still could have 2 assists. He's that kind of good.
Yeah, if you're not like full line stacking, and you have like, if you want to go like cheaper lines and then just pop him in, that's not a bad way to go.
For sure.
I've seen that have some success before.
Yeah, so you can
any contrarian lines that are sticking out to you? Like I don't have a lot that I like tonight.
I'm just playing, like, I don't know. It's a 3-game slate, but it seems pretty straightforward. Just play kind of the best plays. I think Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart will be somewhat unowned, relatively unowned, and they don't really fit with New Jersey 1. You probably have to double punt here. Yeah, you would. So you'd have to go, something like that. So we've got Buffalo 1 with New Jersey 1, and then Lovejoy, Polak, and Khudobin. So really not that great. Oh, I think you're sharing your screen with me now.
I don't know. I'm pressing buttons. I was seeing if I can take a look at your lineup.
Now we've got double me.
It's not working. Double you?
Yeah, on the.
That's better. No one wants to look at my ugly mug anyways. Hold on. How about that?
Oh no, it's still you, or it's still me. Sorry.
I give up. Good,
Um,
good time. Good time to call it. You got anything else you want to add?
I don't really have anything else, but guys, comment the line you think is going to be the highest scoring line of the slate. You get entered in for a free premium membership to the NFL package, which you get Osmo's ownership projections, his rankings, showdown rankings, all the good stuff that you get with an NFL subscription. If you comment and like this video, you can do this to other videos as well. A comment, a like, and subscription does give you an entry, a quote unquote entry, and then one random winner will be chosen each day for the rest of the week. So do that. Don't just comment on this video. You get more entries if you comment on more videos. So just pay attention to what you're supposed to comment, and you will be eligible for the prize. Only 2 likes. I'm seeing 11 likes right now, but that is pretty weak. So I'm expecting you guys to start your comments after we end the show. You got anything else, Nolan?
That's it. I got nothing. I don't have a good feel for this slate. I'm going to rely on your expertise. I think New Jersey 1's the way to go, and then build from there.
Love it. All right. Good luck, guys. Don't spend all your bankroll tonight. We've got a pretty nice slate tomorrow, and Steve and I will be back for that. So good luck.